Why hello everyone and welcome to the office. It's time for us to mod the PSP. Again. Except not again, because we're doing a different mod this time. Today, in this video that you're watching right now, you, my viewers, are going to learn how to install PRO-C2 CFW for PSP. And that was a lot of abbreviations. But Dr. Modelot, what's the benefit of having custom firmware on your PSP? Well, my viewers, there are a ton of benefits, which include, but are not limited to, being able to run unsigned homebrew software on your PSP, the ability to install plugins that add more functionality to the device, and the capability of running emulators on your PSP, among other things. Whoa, Dr. Modelot, that's so cool! But there are a ton of options out there for custom firmware on my PSP, like M33 and LME. Why do I want PRO-C2? The reason why you want PRO-C2 is because it's a good custom firmware to start at. It's incredibly easy to install. Now the trade-off for that is that this custom firmware is not permanent. You do have to reboot it every time you turn your PSP off, but restarting PRO-C2 is only just a couple button clicks, so it's no big deal at all. In order to install PRO-C2, your PSP should be running official firmware version 6.61. PRO-C2 can also be installed on a few other versions, but there are some potential bugs. And don't worry about this update being permanent or anything, you can always downgrade your PSP later on if you want to try a different custom firmware. We'll talk about that in another video. You're also going to need a cable or adapter that can transfer data from your PC to your PSP. You can use either a mini USB cable that you plug into your PSP, or you can use a Memory Stick Pro Duo to USB adapter. The choice for that is yours. So first things first, let's download the custom firmware. Starting on your PC, go to Google and search for 661_Pro-C2. One of your first options will take you to the wololo.net website. I will have a link to that same page in the description. On this webpage, you can see a list of different versions of PRO-C2. Select the one that applies to your PSP. In this case, 661_Pro-C2. Click on the highlighted link and a zip file will download automatically. Inside of this zip file, you should have two separate folders, one labeled PSP and the other labeled SE plugins. If you don't have your PSP or memory card plugged into your PC, please do so now. If you've already formatted your PSP memory stick, you should see the following files listed under your file browser. Next, take both the PSP and SE plugins folders from the zip file you downloaded and move them over to the root of your PSP file system. The PSP folder should merge with the one that's already on your memory stick, and the SE plugins folder will be added to the root of the card. Now that you've placed both folders on your memory stick, you can go ahead and remove it from your PC or unplug your PSP from your computer. Now, go back to your PSP and scroll over to your Games tab. If you saw my last video, you might notice that I'm not using 256 gigabytes of storage. Instead, I'm using 64. I found that the load times were a little too much for my taste with 256 gigs. However, if you'd like to learn how to create a high-capacity memory stick for your PSP, go check out that video. Moving right along, go into your Games folder and search for the PRO-PSP firmware update software. Select it and you'll boot into this screen. All you need to do here is press the X button to install the custom firmware, and that is everything. Congratulations! You've installed custom firmware onto your PlayStation Portable. Like I said earlier, you do have to launch PRO-C2 whenever you shut your PSP off. To do that, all you have to do when you turn your PSP back on is go into your Games folder and launch the PRO-PSP Fast Recovery application. After just a few moments, you'll be taken back to the main PSP menu with your custom firmware active and ready to go. Now that we have custom firmware running on our PSP, there's a lot of different software that we can run for it. We'll start taking a look at how to set up some emulators next time, and later on we'll talk about how to use some features you have on your custom firmware. But for now, please slap that thumbs up button if you like this video. Check out Dr. Modelot on Facebook to see some awesome updates. Join the Dr. Modelot Steam group to hang out with the community, and subscribe for more awesome mods. This is Dr. Modelot. Thank you for stopping by the office.